And just a lot of updates on our agenda tonight. It is winter time. I wanted a little ambience, so thought I'd open the curtain a little bit. Actually, I couldn't figure out what button to push to get the screen up. Here we rock and roll. We're going to get started here. I'm going to flip. We're in session for the February 10th meeting of the City of Lawrence Board of Parks and Recreation. We're going to flip. I can't see. There we go. Put my old man glasses on. We're going to flip number 2 and 3 around here real quick. We have a new board member, Ms. Amy Norman. She is the MSDLT, also new to the MSDLT school board, and she is their appointee to this city Parks and Recreation board. Real quick, Ms. Amy, if you will share a little bit of your background. She's got some skills she's bringing to the board. I just brag on her, she'll get tired, but she's going to have branding and make us just best thing of, since sliced bread. So Ms. Amy, give us a little background, madam, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm learning now on both. I'm new to both boards, so I look forward to learning and working with everyone. My name's Amy Norman. I was just appointed last month to the MSDLT of Lawrence Township School Board District 3. And I have my husband and I have 3 students in Lawrence Township right now, various ages. We've lived and worked in Lawrence for the past 14 and a half years. I'm a native of Illinois, don't hold that against me. And we enjoy sports, activities, nature, so I'm thankful that they did appoint me to the Parks Board. My background, I have an MBA, a biology degree, and I worked for several years in the life science field in the lab and then sales and marketing. So hopefully I can bring that to the table a little bit around social media. Also, I always tell people at the heart of everything, I'm a mom. So we're out at the parks. I'd be happy to promote the parks to other parents in the area.
And Trace, this is you guys, as I had mentioned, to make us all look great. Okay, and like I said, I met with Sean Denny, Ministry H yesterday, Park Foundation, and they'll be just promoting it. So there's a ton of skill level here. So if I keep, the first time we met, I gave her homework assignments, and I keep giving her homework assignments. So she'll either yell, throw rocks at me, call me names, but she has a known skill set. So run with it. We have the minutes. Thank you, Ms. D, for getting those minutes out there, madam. If you take a look, these are the minutes from January the 13th. It seems like an eternity ago, but it wasn't. If you've had a chance to peruse, I'd entertain a motion. If there are no additions, subtractions, corrections, I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes as submitted. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
All right. All right, now the big business here, and Eric, this is going to be one where I'll have you, and we're going to go ahead and jump with number 6 there real quick. The resolution 1 on the catering services. Resolution 1 real quick, I'll read it, and then Eric will reasoning for it. It's Resolution 1, 2021, resolution of Parks Board accepting and approving the recommendation for catering and food programming services at the Sturt Center and Gin Park Rec Center, and authorizing the drafting of contracts regarding the same. Mr. Eric?
Some months ago, we put into motion the RFPs, and I think the board approved those, the content of those before they went out, but we sent out roughly
10?
a dozen. So yeah, we only had, we had 5 responses, one no response, and of the 4 responses that we did get back in, one was disqualified because of the lateness of the application or the proposal back to us. So the committee, Jeff and I, and Joe Murphy, in discussion with the mayor, agreed that we'd offer all three contractors or all three vendors a contract. There's a lot of similarities with the three, and there are some differences. So it'll give the individuals at the Starrett Center and Gen Park an opportunity to kind of shop. I know Suzanne does a lot of large facilities, so does Fitzgerald's. I'm not sure about Porter Books, but they do a great job over at their facility. So,
And they're all three located here in the city of Lawrence. Chef Suzanne has a kiosk up there by 79th and Sunnyside, by Lincoln Square. Porter's Books is on Lawton East. Highly recommend. That's a very cool gathering place. Coffee, lunch, breakfast, and Fitzgerald Catering. Of course, Fitzgerald's. It's just quarter of a mile due east here. It's just it's a deli style, outstanding. Eats.
Fitzgerald's has been here for years under a couple different names,
Right.
but they started at the firehouse here, and it was Frozen Ivy when they first started. So they've been around. They're all women-owned businesses, and again, they're all within the community here. So we're suggesting that we enter into agreements with all three for the calendar year 2021, and then look at either accepting more or continuing on for 2020.
And the purpose for this, Eric, we try to, those been around on the board for a while, we all know that the city charges fees to rent out facility. The ideal is also the city's trying to recoup some additional dollars that when events are held, they have to use one of the three, they will enter into a separate agreement with one of the three caterers ahead of time, and they have to use one of the three catering providers that we are going to extend a contract with for their event.
And within the RFP was the requirement that they provide 10% of the gross revenue of their contract with the customer. That includes both food and alcohol. We include the alcohol on, and each one of these represents, they each have their own liquor license, so they.
That was my question, because that was you went in or go down a rabbit hole, is the concept of what is there's 2-way and 3-way liquor license, and you go down that rabbit hole, who has one. For clarification, all three have their own standalone
3-way license.
3-way license, so we would not, at this time, we did not have to ask the city to, what are the two they currently have?
Now, the licenses are held by.
Right.
They're selling them to these individuals.
Okay. So they are good to go with their liquor license and the like. Now, the idea, we're living in, if you haven't heard, we're living in weird times. When are we possibly, Eric, looking at going full bore with
We're down.
having used a catering, or are we looking still
Well, we've been telling people after tonight's meeting that more than likely that we'll have a list of caterers, and really we can't until the contracts are signed.
Right.
But,
and those that have already reserved to use either one of these centers in 2021 are grandfathered in.
probably 10 or 12
Okay.
Reservations, so
Okay.
we've got a long way to go. But we did tell those people that, and some of them will probably use the catering.
Right.
And also-
Regardless. And they did, and just if you haven't been to the Starrett Center for the tour, they have, the kitchen there has been upgraded.
Well, that's something I was going to discuss. We do have a PO that was approved today we're going to take out all the cabinetry.
Right.
We're putting in stainless steel, just countertops, so we can get away. We don't store anything in there anyway, so we're doing that. And at Gen Park also, we're going to remodel the kitchen and just make it a straight catering kitchen with with no cabinetry. It's so we can just go in, clean it off,
And for clarification, over at Community Park, the community center there is still, I call it potluck meals, pitching and the
will
like.
be, yes.
Yes, okay, so that will be as is.
But again, we'll offer the catering
Oh, yes,
to the individuals that might.
across the board. Okay. And the timing of this coming along at a real good time with the eventual advent of the cultural campus and prospects of their events and the like. I see it's a good chance we don't make a lot of money, but chance to help our coffers. And even if you were to see our rates to rent or these facilities, our rates are still the best in town going.
I know that Fitzgerald's the only one that in their agreement or in their proposal require a minimum order of $2,000 food. That was on their existing. I'm not sure if they'll alter that or not. That might be something we talk about in the contract process. More money they make, the more we make.
Right. Yeah. Questions there, colleagues? Ms. Helen? No. All right. All right, entertained. I need a motion there for Resolution 1, 2021. Is there a second?
Second.
More discussion? All those in favor? All right, we'll do it. I forgot, we got to do roll call. Ms. Norman?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Burns? Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor? Aye. Motion carries. Let's cater away, people. And this is a big deal. I think it's a big step forward for we've dumped, and when I say dumped, I don't mean that negative. We've put a lot of money in both of the facilities, and like I said, we get to normal. Just real quick, Eric, I'll just go back up here to board comments. I'll start. What upgrades are we making to Gym Park in 2021?
Besides the kitchen, within the kitchen, we're removing all the cabinetry,
Right.
new flooring, and then a new refrigerator and microwave in there.
Okay.
Again, stainless countertop or just stainless tables operating.
Right.
So it's pretty sterile actually looking, but again, we'll be able to clean and
Right.
we'll be able to notice if the renters are cleaned also when they leave, so.
And work is going to be, there's going to be a new fountain out there. That pond needs serious work regardless beyond the new fountain out there.
Yeah, that's whether we hire somebody to come in, it needs to be dredged. We think that we can do some improvements to the levee, maybe suffice another year or two to get the water level back up. But it's just silted in over
Right.
the years.
All right. Any other comments of Eric? Parks, as it pertains to our parks? I know it's that time of the year where there's not a whole lot of activity going on. The sledding here is getting used. And every time I see it, I go, do we want to take it out? And then it snows, and you go, imagine that may not be a hill you want to die on, no pun intended. Hey, that's pretty good. But it's just that time of the year. Now, are we having to work any overtime snow removal? What role does our department playing in snow removal and all that?
We, of course, do all the sidewalks here at the government center, at all of our buildings, the police station, shooting range, the OC over at utilities. So it takes, we've got 3 guys on that crew. It usually takes them 4 or 5 hours if
Okay.
we get an inch or two. And our other guys actually do the plowing in the roads, parking lots. And if street needs it, then we'll go out. Generally, by the time we get out there, they're in the neighborhoods, and we'll help with a few of the neighborhoods on 55th Street up to 63rd Street, and then they're usually caught up, so.
Okay. And I will announce, Eric, first time in how many years you got a new vehicle?
Since 2002.
So first time in, 18 years. We're excited.
At last.
It's nice. It's got,
Yeah,
It's got 4 doors on it. It's highfalutin. That's moving on up for this department.
Actually, the guys are excited because we moved the other one, the Blazer, back to the maintenance area, and they're going to use it as a parts runner and stuff to
What have they been using?
an old squad car.
Oh, that's right, old cop car.
It's dangerous.
It has a Blues Brothers feel to it, if you remember that car.
So they're
I'll be
they're
honest
excited,
with you.
Yeah.
All right, well, Eric, walk us through, if no one else has to
Just a few things.
Go ahead.
Last month, you approved the signage
Yes.
that Ethan had designed. We're to have all the signs removed at Community Park, Veterans, Lee Road, and Gen Park, and those will be installed sometime in March. So watch for that, and watch us when we remove the big monument at Veterans Park. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, but we'll get it done.
Yeah.
The master plan, everybody should have received an email today from Alex at Structure Point with the draft form. So if you get a chance to look at that, primarily Chapter 6.
And if you're wonk, I like the demographic. I think it's the social studies teacher and what I'm taking in school now. If you're a demographic wonk, it is good reading. You get to know the character. And just to kind of caveat, and Trace, you and I mentioned this yesterday when we were meeting. I recommend going to the Trust for Public Lands website because they came out with their park score index.
Score.
Yeah, well, and then if you Google it, just because you didn't put in park, I've said it ever since I've been on this board. It's an embarrassment that only 4% of the parkland in Marion County is used for parkland. And of course, my advocacy of trying to get park land, recreation land south of Pendleton Pike, it's real easy to read it. When you pull up, you can put in Lawrence, Indiana, and you go right south of the Pike, it comes up bright red. And that's because it's a park desert, recreation desert, and they use all types of rubric, percentage of people, and then breaks out the demographics. That's the big one, people within 10 minutes, 15 minutes walking distance from a park or a trail. I'd recommend taking a look at it. I mean, we've got cool stuff coming out here. It's going to talk cultural campus, a civic plaza, revamping a couple of parks, but I'll keep beating the table here. We got an underserved or non-served, that's an understatement to call it underserved, a non-served segment of our community south of Pendleton Pike that we really have got to address. And I'll chat a little bit, and that's one of the things Mr. Yates and I, Parks Foundation, we chat. I'm going to call you up here for just a quick little blurb. Those are some things we have got to address in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It's just quality of life issues.
So the master plan should be in final form for your March meeting, and Structure Point will be here to walk you through the plan. Again, hopefully allow you to finalize it probably in your April meeting. But at least they'll be here to answer some questions.
Vote in April and vote in April.
I would assume so. It just depends on what. I don't think we'll be. Again, I think they want to present to you and then allow you to make any.
Impression from the email that we voted in.
I'm going to push that we'll vote on it in April because we may see things and they may get things from us that it needs a little massaging before we.
And again, we got our draft into DNR on January 15th. Hopefully next week they'll get their corrections or comments back to Structure Point. So we've done our due diligence. We got it in on time, so we're good as far as DNR. Any applications we have this year for grant proposals.
And that's what, Eric, what grant proposal can we still get? We approve it April 10th, whatever our meeting date is. What's our goal for
Land
application?
and Water Conservation are due in June. The Recreational Trails Program, I think that's a September date.
Okay.
So there's a couple we can shoot at yet this year.
Okay.
If we have the matching funding to go with it.
Okay, got it.
So, will we get a chance to see those before you send them in, or will this board get a chance to see? them?
Yeah, any application, grant application has to be approved by the board before we even send it in.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've done that.
Yeah, the Land and Water Conservation Fund, I know that Jeff had to sign the contract that,
Okay.
that we would use it, but that's, we have to get your blessing in a resolution form
Right.
to send along with the application, so.
What's the matching part usually on those?
Land and Water's up to $250,000, and it's a 50-50 match.
Okay.
The one we've got for Civic Plaza, we're matching with the land donation from the Reuse Authority, so that's $175,000, and we'll have to come up with $25,000, and we can almost do that in kind matches, or
Okay.
so we'll have that one paid for and be able to ask for reimbursement as soon as we, as soon as the land transfer, we'll be able to ask for reimbursement on that. Have that capital ready to help with the development.
And that's one of the, I'm losing track of meetings I go to now. The planning, we're in the planning purposes, what's going to be Civic Plaza over there is still in the purview of my other hat I wear, the Reuse Authority. And we had our first design meeting with the Shrewsbury people. And there is a timeline for construction of that. We'll meet again next Friday. The goal, and it has to be substantial completion in essence, to cover the time period for the grant.
Correct.
Is that June of 20? Yeah, June 30th, 2022. But the goal is to have shovels in the ground and something happening by late summer, early fall.
What's the basic idea about what you're doing there?
Civic Plaza primarily is going to be,
Please do that.
it'll be an area for the Winter Festival to facilitate the skating rink, something.
And generally a gathering area too, because and I can't find it, here it is. We got, and of course Syracuse went through it, we got the furnishing kind of proposal, water fountains, trash cans, bike racks, tables, patio from when it's not used. Come summertime, it's anticipated that our big permanent stage that we have, mobile stage will stay out there in the summer for everything from Fridays at the Fort to possible groups, organizations who would like to use that area.
So we're going to rent that maybe?
That's a discussion, yes.
I think that's
But just generally as a gathering, a focal point of the city, and even when we don't have events out there, to still be decorative.
a nice place.
Yeah, just kind of a gathering point. Now, the big issue in the meantime, we'll have to hammer out is, where does the farmer's market in the summer, fall go? Where like Loggers of Lawrence go? Winterfest. I'm throwing this out. It's not written in stone. Eric and I have talked about it, is maybe having the Winterfest in the back area just to the east of the sledding hill. That ice rink probably is going to work a little better if it's on a more permanent, firm structure than, because it was laid upon a combination of packed gravel and sand this year. But it's a one-year thing. And the schematics of what Shrewsbury came up for, the Reuse Authority, when I say us, I have pictures of it here. And Eric and I have really pushed that whatever we put in there, kind of like at the cultural campus, it has to be maintenanceable. It's not a word, but it is now. But we got to be able to take care of it, fix it, replace it. Everybody likes something new, but it's like my old body, it occasionally breaks, and that's kind of what we're shooting for.
Yeah, we're looking at a lot of infrastructure items like water and electric use for special events, so people can bring it's a food vendor, they plug directly in, and it's
And with the,
plug and play is
right.
more so than what we're doing now. Is every event, it seems like we're chasing our tails trying to find a place to plug this in or to set this up. So hopefully with our planning group, goodness, there was 15 of us on the call probably. Hopefully, and with administration, we'll get everything correct. The budget for the development is $600,000, so it's not a lot, but I think it's enough to do the project and have a good ending, and also something that will won't be a lot of maintenance to us also.
And what's coming in the air, what's going, be going up around in that area in the next 2 to 3 years, everything you got, hotel development will be going up, library will be that'll be in the next 2 or 3 years will be coming up. They'll be finishing up with the Otis, the apartments, David Weekly homes, being Davis homes, everything's gonna be real proximate there. And this is, like I said, been a hellish year and a half, we know that, but I'm the eternal optimist. I think this is coming online at the right time. I think Aletha Dunstan, give her a shout out, the executive director of the Reuse Authority, has done a really nice job. The board has changed, I understand that, but what she has helped facilitate to come out here in the next 2 to 3 years, I think it'll be coming all together at once, so it's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Throw the cultural campus in, which Eric, you can give us an update.
They haven't torn any concrete out this week, but
Oh, that's a good thing.
yeah, I know she's still got some, she's
back
still
there.
doing some,
Is Judy back there?
oh, I'm sorry.
Hell, I can't get up here. I
Let me
can't
finish
see
mine
that
and you
far.
And I'll just drop down to the Fall Creek baseball relocation.
Get my old man glasses on.
It's working very well, I think. I think Virgil and the Lawrence baseball group was excited to.
They're exhausting in a good way too. I mean, they're filling dumpsters and they are excited. They've given us to-do lists, and if we're gonna make this happen,
So the general process, hopefully we'll have a agreement next month, just an annual agreement for Fall Creek baseball.
and that's what the name of it's going to be at Community Park. They're good, we're gonna transition baseball fields down from Fall Creek. They're still gonna be using some, the big field softball folks, but it is, they are already advertising on signups that it's gonna be played at Community Park. It's gonna be called Fall Creek Baseball. I have communicated with Fall Creek Middle School. They've used those fields in the past. They will be bringing in the past, how subgroups have gotten handshakes with groups. Fall Creek Middle School, they were a little, I think, nervous at first. I go, guys, it's nothing different, but all use agreements got to come through us. And I told them to be planning in the next 2-3 years that those fields will be gone. So they are well aware of that. But they're advertising, they're going to be here, they're excited.
Is it the
They're going after it. And
same people that were running that before, or?
well, right now it is Will and Kevin.
Will and Kevin and
Virgil.
Virgil.
Virgil's gonna be involved
Yeah,
in this?
Virgil's gladly
Yes.
doing the field work for him. That's his, he appreciates that, and
Administrative end, I think he feels comfortable.
letting go of those reins. But, so, that'll give us an opportunity to get their insurance, on line, or the Lawrence baseball won't have to buy insurance this year, and it'll be a cost savings for them too, so.
And there's going to be, and I'm not, since we don't have an MO or a use agreement out there, I'm not privy 100% what we're looking to put in it, but we're going to give it a little different twist coming up next for this coming year, as far as, payment in kind and the like. Once we get talking with them and you guys get a chance to see, it'll be a little different just for this year. And the goal is, hopefully, it'll be a 1-year deal. And then hopefully this time next year, we can go out maybe 2 or 3 years as they can get the lay of the land.
So they're gonna use the big field out there and
At Lee Road, yes.
Lee Road, yeah, and softball still be played out there?
Well, Right now, it's the big field and the two directly behind, I think it's Commons, and the two first fields to right by the concession stand.
Okay,
And then the softball field. They'll use those, and that'll primarily be for travel ball.
Right.
It won't be, all the rec stuff will be over at Community Park.
okay, that's all.
And then once those fields are in shape or redesigned to allow for more play, then we'll move those,
Just transition.
transition those fields over to Community Park.
Okay.
We'll cross that bridge as regards to Fall Creek Middle School, whether it's something remains there or they go over to their fields and do improvements on their fields on their side.
It's very fluid.
You know, one thing I noticed in the master plan, I'd like to see more emphasis on working with the schools. 'Cause
Yes.
schools have a lot of stuff too,
Yeah,
and if we could work and use that as part of, not that we're gonna own it, but if we use more of that,
Well, and that's kind
that
of,
they talk about and they're doing, we can make it work.
that's what Tracy, you and Sean were talking about yesterday. We're in a unique situation. Well, we found out with the master plan, it's still funny to this day. First thing they found out, no one knew where they lived. But we're unique out here in that I will beat the hammer that we got to take care of the city of Lawrence, but we're unique. Way out here where you've got McCordsville, Indianapolis parks do not serve the folks in Lawrence Township unless they want to go swimming. But we got a Y for that, and the idea of incorporating the schools role,
Yeah, I think we need to do a lot more
Yeah.
of that.
because,
As long as I was involved in the schools, I think the feeling always was, to me anyway, that, we don't have anything to do with the city of Lawrence. We're the
Right.
schools and we serve the whole township, so we want to stay separate, but I think I think it's changed.
to
Yeah.
Dr. Smith's credit, and I'll be honest, we had a gap there. I thought Dr. Clark was fairly good about wanting to, he realized that the majority of, but it's still that way today, majority of students in schools are in the city of Lawrence. And then we had some soups that didn't know there probably was a city of Lawrence in a Lawrence Township. Dr. Smith, he understands the role of cooperation between the two, because once more, we're servicing the city of Lawrence and Indianapolis/Lawrence Township all at the same time.
but with that regard, Tom, we have talked to, actually Jeff's talked to the AD at Fall Creek Valley about using the Lee Road Park as part of their cross-country course.
I was going to pick on Miss Norman here. Her and Joe Murphy, I sat there and looked at it, have got a rough sketch going of a cross-country coach. Of course, Miss Norman coaches youth track and field at the Fishers Y. And of course, Joe ran for me there at Lawrence North and the 401 miler at IU, and got real excited about when I said, guys, when we opened that trail last fall, they want to incorporate it. And you know how that course at Fall Creek Valley, you got to shut the roads down when you have a race or anything going on, and you know that, Amy. So it's pretty neat. They're working on a sketch for it. And springtime, we'll get out here and give it a roll here.
The last thing I'll provide, I did speak to or emailed Josh with the Gaelic Athletic Group, and they have a meeting tonight, so hopefully they'll have their COVID plan in place, and so we can get that.
And they're good people. I just want to make sure in this silly world we live in, they have all the ducks in a row.
Again, it's a moving target, so we don't know. But, they've got somebody on their board that's.
Amy, this is the Gaelic folks. It's hurling, correct?
It's hurling and.
It has nothing to do with overconsumption of alcohol. It has nothing to do with it. But they use one of the football fields, or two of them, they're hurling.
And Celtic football also, which is.
Okay. They're great patrons when they use it.
They have a adult league, but they do also summer camps of youth it's interesting.
It's interesting.
It's interesting.
That's how you do it. You see, that's, there you go, huh?
But most of them are older or actually younger adults and professionals, and they're very good at, they don't leave a mess. And
The conscientious.
conscientious, yeah.
So, all right, anything else there before I put a couple of people on the spot? I'm good. All right. Miss Judy, I can't, when I don't have my old man glasses on, come on up, you get to go first. I can't see that far.
So the Fort Bend Cultural Campus update, we are pretty much on time and in budget, with a few little exceptions.
Yeah,
as
no,
every-
she just said she
as every construction project has.
Right.
We are currently finished with Phase 1 and 2. Phase 3, which is the visual arts building, has a few delays, but it is about 98% finished. The big portion of that was that we discovered we had to replace the windows, and of course, being a historic building, we had to get approval from the DNR architect, which we got today.
Oh,
So,
wow, that's gonna get her
yesterday.
inside like that, wow, okay.
So new windows are coming. The plaza is very well underway. They have stopped for the winter months, and they will pick back up in March. We do have a grand opening planned for May 22nd, and we have started our community meetings. Thank you, Amy, for joining in on that. Additionally, I think you all know, but I'm just going to remind you, the City of Lawrence also has a placemaking council. It's sort of an ad hoc, all volunteer, no organization is really over this. We also meet on the second Wednesday of the month, right before this meeting. And some things come up, because it's placemaking, obviously things about parks come up. I just wanted to let you know that we have offered Daniel Byer, how do you say his last name?
Yes.
With the city is on the placemaking council, and we have offered Loggers and Lawrence the cultural campus for that date. Yeah, so things are
Things are happening. It's gonna
Things are
say
happening.
when the
We are-
snow falls out here and the tulips start growing, yeah, it'll steamroll. In a
Yeah,
good way.
we've done our report and are in process of getting it to Lily. We are 71% finished.
Oh, wow.
So we will definitely finish the project, probably a full year ahead of schedule, so that's great. And we're tweaking things so that we make sure that we are in budget.
Right, I understand that. All right, well,
Guys
keep
have
at
any
it.
Questions?
No,
No questions. Good.
thank you, man. See, it's simple. All right, Trace, real quick, just, if you'll just touch base a little bit, the rollout of the foundation, just kind of a few things we chatted about yesterday.
Sure, of course. Good evening, everyone. I'm Trace Yates, newly installed with the recently formed Lawrence Parks Foundation, Community Parks Foundation. So to Mr. President's point, we had a chance to meet yesterday morning with Jeff, Sean Denny, who is our board chair. Of course, a lot of folks know Sean on the Common Council, former board member with MSD Lawrence Township. And just to provide an update with some of the things that we would like to get accomplished in '21. However, I will take this opportunity to once again remind the group that this is a brand-new organization. And I officially started in a part-time capacity in January. And there's a lot to do to help get this thing to stand up and to organize it and get things moving forward. Website, office location, all the things that you can imagine. But we are eager to roll up our sleeves and eager to serve. I happen to agree with Mr. President that this is a great time for this organization. It's a great time for this community. And we're eager to to identify our role and to settle in how we can best support the city and Eric with the Parks Department and do our share to have our community be known for a rich and vibrant and active Parks Department.
And one of the things we definitely brought up, the Parks Foundation is not a part of this department, but it is a part of the park system, okay? And they're operating independently, but their activities will definitely, well, their charge is definitely a part of what we hope to accomplish out here. You know, one of the first project is work on a beautification activity. And then I kicked around, you know, we were talking about we get monies going in this foundation, acquiring land for potential new parks and the like. But I think just as important is one of the issues on the reuse authority and Judy and the cultural campus is to give Lawrence an identity. You know, I always go back to the line from the master plan. People don't know where they live. You know, we have a Lawrence County, we got a Lawrence Township, and we have a city of Lawrence, all in Indiana. And when you say, I live in Lawrence, Indiana, people go, what the hell does that mean? Okay, they really aren't sure. And I think some of the mayor's efforts at simply rebranding or branding, I don't even think it's rebrand, but simple branding. And that's a skill that Ms. Amy brings to the table here, the marketing and the wherewithal for that. Because like I said, within 2 or 3 years, I'd like to think what we're rolling out, starting with Cultural Campus, will be full bore here at the fort and hopefully throughout the city of Lawrence.
Yeah, for sure.
And Parks Foundation could be a big role in that.
Well, we're eager to find our way and find a way to contribute, that's for sure.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure, thank you.
All right. Board members, anything else to add? Miss Helen Taylor, anything to add?
No, I sure don't.
Okay. Miss Amy,
I did have a couple quick comments.
by all means.
With the cross-country course, that'll obviously, on Lee Road, that will impact the schools and benefit the school, but also with the YMCA. That was an update. Fort Bend YMCA is almost always the host for the All-City Cross Country Championship between all of the YMCAs of Greater Indianapolis. So that's always the second Saturday of October, and I believe it's the 9th of October this year. So once we have the Lee Road course, that will also be a part of the YMCA meets. So that's exciting.
Yes, it is. And, you know, like those young bucks that, you know, came up with the skating rink and wanted to put a trail back there, get off my lawn, guy. Joe said he wanted to do it. I said, and of course, it gets used. It does. So.
It's nice when it's really hot, the sun's out.
Oh, it is. God. All right. Anything else, gang? B-0 should be about halftime of the IU Northwestern game. Meeting adjourned.